In 1976, a gang broke into one of the most secure bank vaults in France. They did not blow the door or storm the lobby. They came up from the sewers. For an entire long weekend, they feasted, drank wine, and cracked open hundreds of safe deposit boxes. Then they vanished with a fortune. Behind them, they left a message that became legend. Without weapons, without hatred, and without violence. This is the Société Générale Heist. Welcome to Curio Hour, where we uncover the strange, the unsolved, and the unforgettable. Today's story, the Société Générale Heist. Our story takes place in the glamorous city of Nice, on the French Riviera, in the summer of 1976. And at its heart is one of the most colorful characters in the history of crime. A man named Albert Spaggiari. Spaggiari was no ordinary criminal. He was a former soldier and paratrooper, an adventurer, a photographer, and a man with a flair for the dramatic. He was charismatic, clever, and possessed of a certain roguish charm. He fancied himself a kind of gentleman criminal, and he dreamed of one truly spectacular crime. His target was a branch of the Société Générale, one of France's largest banks in the center of Nice. Specifically, its underground safe deposit vault. The vault held hundreds of safe deposit boxes belonging to the wealthy citizens of the Riviera, stuffed with cash, gold, jewelry, and valuables. It was considered impregnable. The vault was so secure that, the story goes, it was not even fitted with an alarm inside, because the bank believed no one could ever get in. That confidence was the bank's fatal flaw. And Spaggiari found the way in by looking not at the bank, but at the city beneath it. Beneath Nice ran a network of sewers and underground tunnels. Spaggiari realized that one of these tunnels passed reasonably close to the bank's vault. His plan was to enter the sewer system, dig a tunnel from there to the vault, and break in through the wall, completely bypassing every door and lock. To test whether the vault truly had no alarm, Spaggiari is said to have run a clever experiment. He rented a safe deposit box of his own. He then placed an alarm clock inside his box, set to go off in the middle of the night. If it rang and no one responded, he would know the vault was not monitored. The clock rang, the night passed, and nothing happened. His suspicion was confirmed. Once inside, the gang could work in complete safety, with all the time in the world. Spaggiari assembled a team, reportedly drawing on both local criminals and his own connections. With the plan set, the digging began. From the sewer, the gang began to excavate a tunnel toward the bank. It was around 8 meters long, slow and grueling work in the cramped, filthy underground. They worked for about 2 months, night after night, hauling out earth and shoring up the tunnel to keep it from collapsing on top of them. The conditions were miserable. They labored in the damp, the dark, and the stench of the sewers, edging ever closer to the vault wall. Finally, the tunnel reached the thick concrete wall of the vault. The gang set to work boring through it, the last barrier between them and the fortune inside. They chose their moment perfectly. They would strike over a long holiday weekend, when the bank would be closed for several days, giving them maximum time. On a July weekend in 1976, they broke through the wall and climbed into the vault. Before them lay hundreds of safe deposit boxes, ripe for the taking. And then, knowing they had days of undisturbed privacy, the gang did something extraordinary. They settled in and made themselves at home. To make sure no one could surprise them, they reportedly welded the vault door shut from the inside, sealing themselves in with the treasure. Then they got to work. Over the long weekend, they pried open and emptied hundreds of safe deposit boxes, one after another, filling bags with the contents. The haul was staggering. Cash, gold bars, jewelry, and valuables worth an enormous sum, by some estimates tens of millions of francs, one of the biggest robberies in French history. And famously, while they worked, they took their leisure. The gang is said to have brought food and wine, and even enjoyed proper meals down in the vault. Picture it. A gang of thieves sealed inside a bank vault, leisurely dining on pâté and wine, surrounded by a fortune, with no fear of being disturbed. It was this almost gentlemanly, unhurried quality that would help turn the robbery into a legend. There was a strange elegance to the whole affair. They had not stormed in with guns blazing. They had simply outsmarted the bank, sealed themselves in, and helped themselves at their leisure, as if they had all the time in the world. And for that long weekend, they did. When they had taken all they could carry, the gang prepared to leave, slipping back out through their tunnel and into the sewers, then away into the night. But before they went, Spaggiari left his calling card. A message scrawled for the police to find that would become one of the most famous lines in criminal history. The phrase in French translated roughly to, without weapons, without hatred, and without violence. It was a cheeky, defiant signature on a near-perfect crime. When the bank reopened after the holiday, staff could not open the vault. It had been welded shut from the inside. When they finally got in, they were met with chaos. Hundreds of boxes lay broken open and empty. A tunnel gaped in the wall, and there was the mocking message left for the authorities to read. France was captivated. The audacity, the cleverness, and the gentlemanly style of the robbery made headlines and captured the public imagination. A huge investigation was launched to catch the perpetrators of such a spectacular crime. And for a while, the trail seemed to lead nowhere. But eventually, the police caught a break. A member of the gang, it is said, talked, and the threads began to lead back toward the mastermind, Albert Spaggiari. Spaggiari was arrested and brought in for questioning. The clever gentleman thief, it seemed, had finally been caught. But Spaggiari had one more trick to play. He cooperated in his charming way and even agreed to help the authorities. He played the role of the captured rogue who had decided to come clean. Months later, Spaggiari was brought to the office of the investigating judge to give evidence and go over details of the case. And that is when he made his move. During the meeting, Spaggiari asked to consult a document by the window. Then suddenly, he leapt out of the open window of the office. He landed on a parked car below, cushioning his fall, and jumped onto the back of a waiting motorcycle, which sped him away before anyone could react. It was a getaway worthy of a film. The gentleman thief had escaped from the very heart of the justice system in broad daylight and vanished. Albert Spaggiari was never recaptured. He spent the rest of his life on the run, living abroad under false names and reportedly taunting the authorities from afar. He even gave interviews and wrote about his exploits, cultivating his image as a daring, harmless rogue who had pulled off the perfect crime and gotten away with it. He lived as a free man for more than a decade, until he died of illness in the late 1980s. His body was reportedly returned to France only after his death. As for the fortune taken from the vault, the vast majority of it was never recovered. The gold, the jewels, and the cash had disappeared. Some of the gang members were caught and convicted, but much of the loot remained hidden, scattered, or spent, never to be seen again. The Société Générale heist became one of the most famous robberies in the world, inspiring books and films, and cementing Spaggiari's place as a legend of crime. A tunnel from the sewers, a weekend of wine in the vault, a mocking note, and a leap from a window into freedom. Without weapons, without hatred, without violence. The Société Générale heist.